All right, and we are live. Hello, everybody that is joining us, filtering in here to Cantina Cocktail Hour. I'm super, super excited to have my friend John Miko on Cocktail Hour. John, how's it going?
It's going well. Just started my vacation today, so this is a nice start to my vacation. So thank you for having me on.
Nice, love it.
It's going well.
Yeah, so there you are right there. Just confirming that we are in fact live. Yeah, we are. So yeah, no, that's awesome. So there's no better feeling than first getting onto vacation and just knowing that you're gonna have some time off, time to yourself, time to your family, do what you want. So super excited for you.
Thank you. And we're actually, going out towards a famous where a famous person's from that might have interacted with a famous person you're a big fan of. We're going out towards the Cape, Hyannis. I'm going to pass Hyannis, go to Dennis, and Hyannis is where the Kennedys are from.
I see.
Yeah, Mr. JFK there. So,
is that good or bad?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know.
We'll drink to that. And I heard some great news about you, so I'd love to raise a glass and say congratulations and cheers to you and your new endeavor.
Oh, thank you. Yes. So cheers to that. So I just got I just got a job. I appreciate that a lot. It's a new job. I have been working in education for years now, and this is a new opportunity within education. I'm moving to a different grade. I'm going from kindergarten to third grade. So this is like a big thing, and it's longer hours. It's different, but I'm excited, and I know it's going to be an awesome school year. And we do have year-round school here in our area, so I do start on Monday. So getting into it pretty quick, but I'm excited. It's a new challenge. I'm gonna have a little less time for the fun stuff. For the I'm not gonna abandon cocktail hour. We'll still do these every Friday, but just a little less time to focus. I might need to hire some help or something. We'll see.
That's never a bad thing, but my wife's a teacher, so bless you and thank you for everything you do. And you guys do not get paid nearly enough. So
that's kind. Thank you.
Right.
So John, tell us a little bit about what you're drinking over there.
Yes, it's not as probably fancy as some of the drinks you've had, but I made a Moscow Mule.
Nice.
So I put in the Tito's, but I like to try to find an interesting ginger beer, and I try to find either something local or just something in general that spicens it up a little bit or makes it a little more interesting. So I've been into this Fever Tree ginger beer. I don't know if you guys have Fever Tree out there. It's actually a UK company. So I think I might see Tim on here. So Tim, shout out to you guys. I don't know if you guys know about something, but anyways, it's a lovely ginger beer and it adds a really nice bit of a ginger extra spice to the meal. So pink.
Nice. You cannot go wrong with a Moscow Mule. Like I love how that sensation of the ginger beer kind of lingers with you after you drink it, that warming sensation. And that's awesome. For me, I have it's a summer classic. It's a mint julep. I love making these because they're refreshing. You muddle the mint in there with a little bit of sugar, a little bit of water. You add your ice, add your bourbon, stir it really, really well. And what I like about the mint julep is that the more you drink it, the sweeter it becomes. And you really get those flavors towards the end of the drink. So it's one of my favorites. And, for summertime, it's perfect. So I'm really enthused about this. I haven't made one in a while. So I love these. So once again, cheers.
Cheers to you. Yeah, I'll have to try something like that out. I got a couple different types of mint that just grow in my yard. So definitely have to hit you up for that recipe. I see that Tim's on. He said, hell of a mug you got there, John. Well, you got to have a Moscow Mule in a copper mug, right? I mean, and I'm just gonna throw this out there. This is a plastic straw, but it's one of those friendly biodegradable ones. So please don't judge.
Nice. So yeah, hey Tim, good to see you. Tim was one of my more recent guests on Cocktail Hour, and we had a really good chat. So good to see Tim here, our friend from the UK. It looks like our pal Chris is here from Bantha Skull. Chris, welcome to Cocktail Hour. Hope you got a good beer or something that you are drinking over there.
He's probably got some Sam Adams or something. Yeah.
Yep.
Him and Tim, those beer only drinkers.
Right. Pedro's in the house. Hi, Pedro. How's it going? Delvian, Seek, hello. Hey, Mary. How's it going? Good to see you here once again. We have Clark. Hey, Clark. How's it going? Jay, good to see you in here as well. Smuggler's Canyon. Thanks. Welcome back. Thank you for your comment. David, welcome. Yeah. So awesome stuff. Awesome stuff. We got a good little crowd forming in here, and yeah. So we had some Q&A sessions this week, didn't we?
Yeah. We did. It was a first for us. So we were very honored to, be invited and be able to participate. So yeah, it was great.
Very well deserved. And I watched through the one that you participated in the session, and I just thought your questions are very thoughtful and very well constructed. And sometimes I feel like going into these, I hear things like, "Oh, when is this figure coming out? When is that figure coming out?" Things are never going to tell us, but that yours are very, very well crafted and thoughtful. So definitely appreciated that.
Oh, thank you, and likewise. I give credit to all of you that have been doing it for so long, and just really observing how you guys interact with them and try to get value out of them. And you, Chris, Tim, Brett, a lot of those people I really give credit to. And then my team, Lando, Augustine, and Corey, we put a bunch of questions together, and it was a lot. We put a lot of time into really crafting those and trying to make sure that we were, as people have mentored me too, is to serve your community and serve them as well as possible, and just don't be selfish with your questions. So we tried to make sure we were asking questions that have really surfaced a lot in our space, and get some answers to those. And we didn't really go out there and ask for questions this time. We just weren't sure, how to go about it all. I mean, I think in the future, that's one thing we might try to do, is just say, hey, we got invited. If please submit some questions, and, depending on, how good they are, we'll get them in there. So I really appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah, no, it was good stuff. So tell us a little bit about what you learned on your end during your session. Anything interesting that you were able to find out through the questions that you posed to Hasbro?
Yeah. So, first of all, I'm terrible at thinking on my feet sometimes. So when someone's talking to me and I should follow up with something, if I could go back, I might have had a couple of little quick follow-ups just to say, but I also wanted to be very sensitive of everyone's time. And, I didn't want to just steal the show, but one of the questions I asked was basically talking about world building and how the Mithrol checks all the boxes. And of course we it was really revolving around background characters or non-core characters. I used the word tertiary characters, and asked if hit the positive response to him means we'll be able to see more of those background characters. And of course I gave a shout out to the Tonica sisters.
You did.
And made it a point, and a few other characters, and Chris he kind of laughed, and it was funny, and he agreed that those are all great characters and characters we love, but he kind of had a valid point that Mithrol's a little more than a tertiary character at this point. I mean, he did have 16 episodes to show up in, right? And what is that? Maybe 4 movies if you add it all up. But anyways, he made the point that he had speaking lines with main characters, and he's a little more than a tertiary character. But those characters aren't I think they gave the whole the canned kind of. We're not saying we would never make these characters, but there's nothing in the current plans for them type of thing. But you know, it was good to just get out there that we love the obscure, we love the weird. I don't. Tim likes to say it, we love the weird, and you know, they nailed it out of the park with him. So
Totally.
I thought that was a good response from him, and it's, you know, he kind of laughed a bit, which was fine.
Yeah, that's a really excellent looking figure. Just like the execution on it from what we've seen so far, just looks perfect. So I'm stoked for that. That's, you know, definitely an encouraging response. And, you know, we definitely want to see more of those kinds of characters. You mentioned the weird, like I actually mentioned that yesterday when I was doing my analysis of my Q&A session. And one of the things I said was that, you know, the weird stuff about Star Wars is my favorite stuff about Star Wars. You know, the aliens, you know, the droids, and just the random things that you see thrown in there, you know, in Return of the Jedi, you know, just what's his name, Bubo or something, the one that like sticks his tongue out and like grabs the, you know, like the little thing that's running around, like, you know, just random things like that just make it Star Wars. And, you know, I love it when they inject a little bit of weirdness into the toy line.
Absolutely. So it's so welcome, and I think a few of us talked. You might have mentioned at one point, even from a Cantina alien perspective, you know, the last time we got a Cantina alien, I think in the Black Series, and you know, same thing with the Mithrol. He's an all new alien species, and we haven't had an all new alien species since Mosep. So,
Right.
you know, it's good to just get that out there for her.
Gosh, and that's 7 years ago. That's 2015 that they did him, right? So yeah, a long time.
Yeah. Yep.
Long time. And yeah, for Black Series 2 Greedo, that was 2013, even longer ago. And now, you know, we're getting more aliens for, you know, Dr. Evazan Pandabava, which Evazan's not really an alien, but he's a Cantina patron, right? So, you know, he's in that same neighborhood of strange, weird characters. So, you know, I love seeing that. And I hope we get more. I really hope we get more.
Yeah, I'm excited to see too, right, with a lot of this new media coming up, if they really push the envelope with more of the non-human type stuff. You know, I think it'd be great to just see more of that stuff, and what hopefully there's more of a secondary character, or somewhat of a primary character that's an alien. That would be really fun.
So. Yeah, absolutely. And that kind of ties into something I asked, which was about, you know, Cantina characters. You know, it has been a long time since we saw Mosip. It has been a long time since Greedo was in Black Series. And, you know, they can never tell us specifics unless it's announced or accidentally leaked. But, you know, they're not going to say anything. So basically, you know, we just want to see more, you know, and, you know, Mithrol is a good sign, and anything they want to do in that neighborhood, you know, Cantina, even though it's like a half of a section that you would actually need to buy the full bar, have the full bar section in the Cantina is something. So I felt like that was encouraging. And one of the things that in that session, Chris from Hasbro said was that, you know, they would like to get around to doing more things, particularly for Navarro, for the Cantina there. And, you know, that's what I asked, like, hey, we're getting this awesome playset. You know, I'm sure it's going to be great. You know, just like the Jabba set was. But, you know, we need to populate it with the aliens and the characters. And, you know, I was glad that he at least said that, you know, we'd like to do all of these, give you all of them eventually. And, I mean, no, it's not a no, right? If it's not a no, then that's a little bit encouraging. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah, sorry, my dog was barking. I had to mute you, but yeah, that's like really telling. And you know, I think people were concerned that is this more of a showdown, which they did talk about it being more of the showdown, but
Yeah.
you know, that they also would love to get a lot of those Cantina aliens. So that was, or Cantina patrons. That's great to hear. So
Yeah,
kudos
totally.
to you.
Yeah. And, you know, I oftentimes also in these situations, you know, don't always think, well, maybe you can add this addendum to the question, but I should have asked, you know, if it was going to come with any desks, so that maybe we could do an alternate scene with this same setup.
Any what desks or?
Yeah, desks, and maybe an instructor droid.
Oh, right. That's right, because it turns into the classroom,
The
right?
schoolhouse. Yeah.
I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great idea. You know, some booths
Yeah.
that can switch out into
Yeah.
desks.
And for obvious reasons, you know, I mean, I would be drawn to that, you know, if they included like desks and, you know, the educator droid, and yeah, I would think that'd be fun. But I'm not holding my breath. I just think it would have been a cool thing to ask them.
I know. I mean, some like accessory packs would just be so much fun. You know, all these random accessory packs to fill up your play sets and your dioramas and switch them around. So that's
Absolutely.
great idea.
And Tim makes a good point. The client is in the showdown, which is absolutely true. The client is in the showdown. And I feel like that is an essential that we still haven't yet gotten or heard word of. So we definitely need the client, I just love to have a figure of him either way. So
Yeah, right. He's him and Grief Karga pretty much the two figures missing at season 1 Grief. So
yeah, that's true. That's true. Season 1 Grief Cargo would be another one that we would need for this scene. So I do wonder if it has like any sort of like light up, like fiery effects, or I mean, if it's based on that final showdown, or does the glass break away? Can it shatter somehow? Or, just things to ponder about. What are the features that it has? So hopefully it has some cool stuff. I mean, if it is based on this final showdown, you got to have all this awesome stuff that ties into that showdown. So we'll see what they do with it.
Yeah, that's a good point, because the play sets we've received so far, they kind of you got a hallway, you got in the Jabba's play set, it's kind of a backdrop to the carbonite block, and then you have stairs and like a platform. You don't really have there's no, like you're saying, accessories that come with it to fill in the room, and that would be kind of neat. Kind of like Jabba's throne came with, right? I mean, it came with all the pillows and stuff like that. It would be cool to have some more accessories that went with this stuff. That's a great point.
Yeah. Mackenzie says, didn't they slip up and say the Death Trooper was part of the pack-in with that Navarro playset? Yeah, they did. Or at least it sounds like that's what the case is. They didn't announce it. I don't know if it was unintentionally let out, or if they plan to just kind of reveal that, but it was it sounds like the Death Trooper on a Mandalorian card will probably be the pack-in for this playset.
Yeah, it sounds like it's kind of repeating this pattern, right, of a trooper, either stormtrooper or rebel fleet trooper, and now the Imperial Death Trooper, and we get to have him on that alt card, if you will. So that'll be nice. I know we haven't gotten too many alt. I think this might be the first. Well, there's the carbonized version of it, but I know people like Lando from our group. He's a big fan of alt cards from the Kenner days and some of the ones they brought into TVC 1.0. So that would be nice to see that again.
I think they're fun. As long as they don't do them too often. Like this one kind of makes sense. Hot Toys even did they re-released it under Mandalorian packaging, and this was actually a question I posted to them. I think it was in the Q&A April 2020. I said, hey, would you guys consider doing a Death Trooper on a Mando card? And then later that year, they ended up doing the carbonized version. So I assume it's going to be the same card. It'll just, it won't be carbonized.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
It's going to be great. John from SWTVC. Hey, John. Yes. Says they can do a playset exclusive client with blaster damage all over his chest.
What a great idea. Always some great ideas from John. I love it.
Yeah.
Blaster damage all over his chest. Is it all over his chest or his back?
I think was he looking out the window maybe when it happened, or I don't remember. Okay. Yeah.
Maybe. Yeah, you're right. Oh,
man. Yeah, poor guy. He didn't even know it was coming. Yeah, but no, that's it is encouraging to see these kinds of things. I mean, one of the things they mentioned yesterday too was that if something classic is tied into new entertainment, that there's more of a likelihood of it releasing. And that's when I mentioned the original Cantina. How we'd still like to see that in some form. And it has shown in Mandalorian a couple of times now. So, here's hoping. There's more Star Wars revolving on Tatooine that is coming from Disney Plus, right? You have the Book of Boba Fett, you have Obi-Wan, and who knows what'll happen in the next season of Mando. So, there's more opportunities for that place to show up. And if it does, I don't think this will hurt our chances of that eventually happening.
Yeah, and that's twofold, right? Because there's the Cantina and there's the Jabba goons. So there's potential for, Nyctos, Weakways, all sorts of Rees, all those different obscure aliens, and we can see those, and all the new type of stuff too that comes with that and the Cantina. So I think it's plausible.
Yeah, absolutely. Jay makes a great point. Old and new is a good thing, keeps a balance, and more of a way to please more collectors. And I mean, going back to that Death Trooper, which Eddie is also talking about here, it is. I mean, it makes sense. You're bringing back something that maybe people before didn't have access to. It has been. When did that come out? That came out in the Black Series 3 3/4-inch line at Walmart several years back, and I know that it was available through Walmart, wasn't it? Also, or through the main line briefly. And I never saw it at retail. I know that they did another run online. But if you're not buying things online or you're newer to the vintage collection, then this is another way that you can add figures like that to your collection.
Yeah.
So cool stuff. So what else did they tell you?
Yeah. So we talked to there was a few questions in our session about the Bad Batch, and the one question we asked was, since it was such a, it was Amazon. It was interesting when Patrick basically mentioned that it was the best selling item that day on Amazon, which I knew it was, we all knew it was a bestseller, but didn't realize like it was the best item that day, which is great for TVC.
That's huge. Yeah.
Yeah. But we asked too, like, since it was such a great success, and and fans are begging for the main characters, could they be fast tracked through HasLab and get them out, in the short term versus waiting so long for them? And he kind of said, well, he did say some interesting things. He said kind of, HasLab is evolving, which kind of gives hope for where in the future could it go. But he said ultimately HasLab's really for things that don't make sense at retail. So it's a bummer. And I've talked to Chris about this a bit from Bantha Skull, and he's like, it's one of those things to get out there and at least announce something like that. So if it could be fast tracked, could it be announced through a HasLab or something like that, and then take that normal long process? Sorry to speak for you, Chris, but I think that's what you were chatting with me about, and I agree with you. So it's unfortunate because they do make sense at retail, and they would sell extremely well, but we want them now. So
we want them now. No, cool stuff. Let's see. I mean, focusing strictly on TVC. I mean, I asked him about the pre-order process for Walmart. I mean, it went over very smoothly earlier this year when it came to the ATST driver and Leia, Paplu. But then, that's half the battle, right? Like the other half of it is actually receiving the thing in decent condition, and it's like they fix one thing and then, but not completely. And
they didn't cancel them on us this time, but they sent them to us.
Right, exactly. They didn't cancel them, but they sent them crumpled up, folded up. I've seen some that have given the ones I received previously a run for their money, and
yes, your Taco Leia is it's just priceless. And then the origami, was it a Leia? Was it an origami Leia that somebody else received in a bubble mailer? I was calling it a burrito Leia, or what's the Crunchwrap Supreme?
Yeah, that's what it looked like.
It was like a Crunchwrap Supreme all it's unbelievable. So, but it's good to hear that, and we asked the question too about because we get a lot of comments saying they should just cancel exclusives. it's terrible. I can't get these figures mint. And, you know, of course, it's never an issue for a loose collector, although loose collectors do want to see more in store, right? So they can get the perfect painted deco and all that stuff. But anyways, you know, there was a lot of questions about Bad Batch and exclusives, but the whole exclusive side of saying, hey, is it true that if exclusives go away, we wouldn't get these figures at all, not even in the main line?
Right.
And Patrick answered that with, yeah, that's correct. That exclusives are crucial. And then he kind of shifted to the word essential. Like he was using both words. Like it's pretty much essential to getting more. And we wouldn't get these. And, you know, he's like, I'd love to hear what fans really want. And it's like, well, if they know that, they would bend the knee, if you will, to just get more at that point and deal with what a lot of us deal with is, unfortunately, you're ordering a bunch of them to hope to get a mint one. I wish going forward that looking in hindsight, I guess I should say, it's like, oh, if these are going to start popping up in store, maybe I should hold out. But you know, that's a hard thing to do.
Yeah, I don't take the chance anymore. I mean,
yeah,
you know, I mean, you're risking like missing out. If there's a pre-order and you can access it, then I mean, you need to get on it. I mean,
the FOMO is real.
I wish, yeah. I mean, I wish that I could say, you know, I'm going to find it at the store. I'm going to be able to go to Target. I'm going to be able to go to Walmart. And I'm going to see it. I'm going to be able to choose the best one, best condition, best paint, all that. But you just can't do that. So, you know, it's better to have one that's maybe a little like flawed, I guess, than to not have it at all. So
yeah, sometimes you got to play the return game or try to sell them online. You know, returns are terrible for the line. I'll just echo that. Like they hate returns, but they should also understand, you know, why these things are being returned, right? So there's consequences and it's obviously hard for a mass retailer to really logistically do something like this. I mean, that's what I gather, but I was surprised to find them in store. So I happened to be on a trip. I was actually visiting Chris. We got together, had a drink, and on the way home, he reminded me, why don't you stop at a couple Walmarts? And I checked a pretty big Walmart, and they had the display there. So
that's cool.
I was able to swap some. But anyways, you know, it was good to hear from Patrick about, you know, how exclusives do add to the line, and without them, we wouldn't get more, and we want more.
Yeah, that's true. And you know, they say sometimes the packaging is part of the product, you know, for TVC particularly, and you know, I think they need to, you know, the retailers need to acknowledge that and treat it as such. And one thing that I really like that Amazon did with their Black Series 50th anniversary earlier this year was they received them from Hasbro in like these little cardboard boxes. And then they were shipping them out like inside bigger boxes. In most cases, there were a couple of people that just had the label slapped onto that one box and then they went out that way, which isn't great. But I mean, just imagine if they could do that for TVC, even if they had to raise the price, you know, $1, you know, $2, already raising prices, right? You know, that I think that could potentially help things quite a bit when it comes to these exclusives. You know, for the main line, you can order a case, you know, that's fine. You can go to EE, you can go to Dorkside, wherever, order your case. But for these exclusives, you know, we kind of get what we get. If they could at least do that for those, I think, you know, that could potentially go a long way.
Yeah, absolutely. Great idea. I'm all for that too. So,
yeah. Yep. So let's see here. Smuggler's Canyon. Interesting that during Bosk's panel, the team mentioned that they are of the understanding that the fans have a bias towards the OT, which is great, but we still want new media as well. Like Bad Batch. So yeah, that's a really important thing, I think, and I have heard them say that previously as well. That they feel that, you know, the primary focus for, you know, serious TVC collectors is the OT and right now the Mandalorian. And I can't say that they're completely wrong about either of those things, but it doesn't mean that we want them to exclude other facets of Star Wars media. And I think you know, we have seen them ignore to varying extents different areas of Star Wars media, and I'd like to see them kind of migrate away from that as time goes on.
Yeah, I think they're also maybe trying to, look at the demographics, and it's an aging demographics, and to help, get these out now, while some of these people are still young, and it's like I think Patrick was talking about in one of the sessions, maybe mine, I'm not sure, but the 50th being kind of looking back, even though it's all encompassing, but it's really looking back and celebrating the more of the original trilogy, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, I'm all for, more than anything, just new character debuts and stuff like that. Hence, our first question that we had asked. So.
Totally. Tim says we want all of it. Damn it. We do want it all, for sure. Yeah, and I think Chris is making a good point about this. So it's why the battle doesn't end until we get more assortments per year. And I think that's really how you can open the door for more figures from different the sequels, from the prequels, from the Rebels, from Clone Wars, from Bad Batch. There's so many areas of Star Wars, Legends, that we did see a lot of, back TVC 1.0, it was a good mix of different stuff. And we are seeing it skewed quite a bit. But yeah, I think that's a really easy way to do it. I mean, if you have more product, then you can focus a little bit more of that product to these different, interests that, collectors have.
Yeah. People are begging for like I know Tim brought this up, a new Count Dooku, or get Count Dooku into the line with some sense of newness somewhere in him. But I mean, people are wanting to see not just OT. And I think Chris brought up here too, about the adjacent stuff to the OT. So Rogue One has been a big focus, and Mando, and then probably Obi-Wan will be a huge focus. And that's only going to be one season, right? I hope it doesn't stay that way. But
maybe it'll be like Loki at the very end of the season finale. Yeah, it's a season 2 is coming, so maybe it'll be something like that. They'll announce it that way.
Yeah, you're like waiting for something, because I was like, I don't know what just happened. I think I know what happened, and then they just stamped the season 2, or Loki will return for season 2.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, cool.
But yeah, I mean, I definitely want to see more. And on this subject, what are some areas of Star Wars that you feel have been neglected quite a bit for the vintage collection, in terms of films, in terms of series? Any specific areas that you feel have been kind of neglected lately?
Oh, well, I might be in the minority here. I know you are too, but I also loved Solo, and I want to see more of some of Solo in there. So I'd love to see Rio, Kira, as you know. Kira, there's a couple Kiras we can use, right? And some of this is just a pipe dream, but some of the Cantina aliens that were in there are, in the card game. Mm-hmm. But that Lando at the end in the what was that, like his kind of paradisey outfit there,
Hawaiian shirt, I call it.
Hawaiian shirt, yeah. I mean, just stuff like that. And then I've done some wrote that article for Bantha Skull about how we could get to the Mud Trooper, and it looks like the Black Series is trying to get there with the announcement of the Mayfeld. But I would love to see some of those troopers, and I think they'd be huge, like really big sellers. What about you?
Yeah, no, I'm right there with you. Solo, I mean, I think they did a pretty good little smattering when that movie came out, for TVC, but unfortunately, Han Solo just missed the cut on photoreal, and he doesn't look very good. So I think they could bring that back. I don't think it would do terribly if they did it right. We haven't gotten a Chewie from Solo in Super Articulated. I think Lando, I do wonder about Lando in the Hawaiian shirt, because that's an easy repaint. Like, as far as we could see, his outfit looked more or less the same as the rest of the film. It was just a different shirt. They could do that in both scales. Yeah, and for me, Kira is a top 5, Kessel Kira specifically. But like they're doing with Bo-Katan, remove interchangeable heads, include 2 heads with different hairstyles, and then you can, recreate her look. So
I would love more of that type of stuff if we go into deluxe conversations. There's so many options that could help sell multiple of one deluxe item just to offer interchangeability of likenesses. There was question about the Emperor and if he came with more than one likeness.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think Chris Reif answered it with, because of the world building, we put the interchangeable window diorama in there and felt that was a more appropriate for the world building. And it's like, but I want the Emperor's all 3 different expressions so bad.
Yeah, that would be great. Just like the Black Series set. I mean, I think I feel like they took that throne and they scaled it down for the vintage release, but they're not including the heads. The heads would go a long way. They would really be awesome. And yeah, the Emperor kind of, we can segue a little bit for the Emperor. That it kills me a little bit. It kills me a little bit. I feel like there was so much potential for the greatest, be all end all, definitive Emperor. We would never need another Emperor, but I don't feel like we've quite gotten there with what we've seen.
I blame Chris and all the hype he's created. But yeah, I mean, it was exciting to finally see him, and it's the way they drop some of these things. It's so random sometimes. It's like, we get was it Instagram drop?
I think so. Yeah, it was on Instagram.
Like, man, so both Boba Fett and the Emperor were just dropped on social media. Don't get me wrong. I know I've talked to you about this before. It's a pretty big platform to drop something, but you would think that would be part of a live event where they're like, they got a lot of people watching and they're going to release it, like a Pulse. Well, obviously they wanted to get it ahead of PulseCon, but it's one of those things where you're like, what's going on? Everyone's talking about the Emperor. What's happening? Oh,
right.
I was in a meeting. I didn't see what happened here.
Yeah, so I think it got leaked like the day before they announced it, and then they were like, okay, we need to announce it, and that's what they did.
Right.
Yeah, it's one of those things, just like with the Rancor, like they announced that officially today, and for Black Series. But yeah, so here's our Emperor right here. And we don't know 100% of the specs on this. At least I haven't. If it was asked in one of the Q&A sessions, I must have missed it. But as far as we can tell, this seems to be reuse, mostly for the body of the previously released Emperor, which goes all the way back to 2005, the Evolutions figure.
Yep.
Which if you can't update a character as critical as Palpatine in 16 years time, I think there's a little bit of an issue there.
It
looks like
it's tough.
Yeah, it looks like it's got a new head. It looks like the hood. I think somebody said it might be from the Force Link Emperor that they did, and then the same with the lightning hands that he has could be from that figure too.
Yeah, it's tough. It's tough because I've done a custom Emperor, and I had Evergrey, who's an amazing customizer, sculpt a head. Or he had sculpted it in the past. I bought a additional head from him. But anyway, it's tough. I'm looking at the hands and the hood looks almost wider. The hands look a little more sculpted. I don't know if that's paint or what. So it's tough to know really what is new. I think Chris Reif did mention from Hasbro that his what do you call it? His robe, his belt. That is new. And he mentioned one other thing. Did anyone? The hood isn't from Force Link. That's what John's saying here. That one has a hood attached to the robe. Okay. Thanks, John. I think it's the 2012 TPM body, not the 2000. Oh, okay. 5-1 though. The 2012 one uses a few pieces. Okay.
It's like a retool, I think, isn't it? It has like some reuse. It has some new sculpted parts on it.
Bashed Emperor.
Yeah.
But yeah, you're right. It's tough. I mean, does he need ball jointed hips? I don't know, but he's so definitive. I mean, he's such a a huge character for the line. And, you know, I agree with you. Deserves all new.
He does. And like just this photo here, like he can't even grab his hands together, it looks like. And you know, you do see him like walking around with his hands kind of like touching, right? Like in some shots of that movie. So it's like, you know, if he would have come with like those just like neutral like hands that he just like dangles around, I think that would have been cool. But
yeah, I don't know if I'm a fan of the molded hoods. It's tough because you see some of these custom wired hoods out there. OT Customs like makes amazing soft goods, and you know it had the cost for Hasbro just doesn't. It's not feasible to do that. But you know you want soft goods, but you don't want soft goods that ruin
the aesthetic. Yeah.
the aesthetic. Yeah, good point. So
He looks like Baby Yoda here. He's like wearing a potato sack. It's like,
this little smug.
It's so billowy.
Yeah. It's like reminding me from some character from like Doctor Strange or something. With
I know. Talk about the Emperor's new clothes.
Yeah, we'll see. And Chris from Hasbro did say, you know, he does sit under the hood of the throne, and you know, it all fits.
It all fits. I mean, it's a neat set, and you know, I saw some people complaining, saying, "Hey, you know, $30." I don't think that's that bad, to be honest.
No, I thought that was a great price. I was expecting like $50 or something. So that's good to hear.
Yeah, and I mean, or $32 or whatever it is. That's really not bad. But yeah, so you get the throne. You get his background there. It's just like plastic and cardboard, I guess. Not too dissimilar from what they did for Black Series 40th anniversary of A New Hope, where they had that display with the cardboard backdrop that you could like slide in there. I think it's kind of something like that. Yeah, I mean, if they went forward and did eventually like a play set for the throne, you know, and you could incorporate this into it, you know, I think that would make it even more worth it. You know, if they at some point decided to do like the steps and those little like electrical things on the sides.
Yes.
You could kind of build this out potentially.
Some people, I feel like we're talking about using the carbon chamber freezing, like I don't know if it was the stairs or the platform in general, to try to, you know, have that similar look and feel to the throne room. So I don't know if that works, but yeah. And John's saying here, yeah, hood, belt, and head are new. Oh, and box too. Thanks, John.
Yeah.
And toys are the way here. Ball jointed hips would be amazing, and allow for a natural sitting appearance. It's hard to get figures in our scale to sit. Okay, well, that's a good point. What's up, man?
Yeah, so I think the Emperor is getting a single card back release, right? He's like in the IJ11 wave, as far as I know.
Rumor has it.
Rumored. Hope the cane is not short.
What's funny is my custom one is here, and
nice.
Wait, I can't get his head. Hold on. There it is.
That looks good.
It's hard to do this.
That looks really good.
Doesn't do it justice, but yeah, the cane's always too short. It's like a millimeter too short.
Yeah, at least the electricity isn't short. Remember that one from I think it was like the Saga line, like 2003, that had like those little like shorted out electrical bursts.
And yeah, and I wonder, you know, he should have hinged wrists so he can use that cane in a proper way, right? Because that's what hinges do, are hinged wrists.
Yeah.
So we'll see. I mean, does it spin? There you go.
I hope so. I would just spin in that thing all day if it could.
Hey, he's got to spin around to talk to Vader, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good stuff. So yeah, I know that was talked about a decent amount. And he talked about how cool the box is, right, to open, and
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought,
Chris is actually talking about that here. He went on way too much about the unboxing experience.
yeah, it made me think about, was it the Heroes of Endor set?
The Black Series one, yeah.
So yeah, that was a really cool, I thought, radical design.
Too much work to open.
Was it?
I haven't opened it yet because of that.
Yeah.
Like, geez, I got to cut all these panels. I got to cut all these, At least it's not that bad with Hasbro. Like, if you talk about like NECA or some of Diamond Select, these other companies put like a million like twist ties on.
Oh
it.
yeah.
They're so tight, and it's like your
God.
hands are just hurting by the end of it. It's like
You're afraid to break the NECA figures. They're so delicate. People claim how
I
delicate.
know, right? They can't even make it out of the. Which the Nick is doing, like a lot of the Universal monsters, like which look really neat that are coming. But I've said previously, like regarding the Frankenstein's monster, like if that one breaks getting out of the packaging, it'll kind of make sense.
Oh yeah. Aren't they? I think they're announcing a bunch of stuff in a few days, right? So,
yeah.
I hope they announce some things you're interested in.
I hope so, I kind of hope they don't, but
feed the habit. Yeah,
yeah, feed the habit totally. Yeah, and I think John's also mentioning the one that I talked about. The New Emperor can never be as bad as the 2003 Saga one with the enormous hood and lightning fingers.
Yeah.
That was a weird figure. I mean, even back then, it was like, why in the world is it this bad?
Is the lightning fingers the same ones? Aren't they? I don't know.
They had these little clips, like a wrist clip that you could put on, and they were just like, but they were super short. It was just like he shorted out or something.
Okay.
And it's funny because that figure actually had a pretty decent head sculpt. Like if they would have done the hood like more normal looking, like it wouldn't have been so bad. And it also had a ball joint in the torso. So I remember at the time people were speculating, oh, maybe we're going to get a throne and, you'll be able to put him on the throne. But no, it's a good thing they didn't do it back then because that wouldn't have looked good on the throne at all.
Too funny. Oh, good stuff. So yeah, what else did you ask about?
So I asked about, we talked about Navarro Cantina. Let's see, we talked about shipping. So I did ask a Black Series question because, I do collect those scales.
Yeah.
And, the Princess Leia thing.
Oh, Leia,
yeah, oh my God, that's a whole other thing. So it looked like in the this archive Leia that they're doing that she has the original 2016 head. Like in the press photos, it looks like the 2016 head, which I remember being at Comic-Con like that year when they were showing her off like in a display, and Steve Evans was there, and I was like, hey, so the head on this figure. And he was like, oh yeah, that should never have been on display. Her head is really hard to get right. We are going to redo it. Well, the figure came out in December that year and they didn't redo the head, but for the 40th anniversary of Black Series for A New Hope, which came out just 3 months later in March, they did redo the head and she looked awesome. She didn't have photoreal because they weren't doing it at the time, but if they took that head and did photoreal now, I think it would look even better. And so it was really kind of frustrating for them to say yesterday that she has the 2016 head sculpt. And I feel like, okay, so Chris kind of said, well, it's because, we try and go with the original release in case people didn't get it. Right. And the thing is, this figure wasn't hard to get. Either version wasn't hard to get. She actually shipped in solid case packs in the 40th line.
Okay.
And I remember seeing her for like $3 at like Ross, in the 2016 box. So I mean, she wasn't like a rare figure or anything. And it's kind of weird to put her in archive, but for me, it's cool because I love Leia and I wanted to get her with photoreal, but it ends up being the sculpt that they're saying it is, and it's a little demoralizing, gotta admit.
It's tough, and especially because that other really good sculpt is in photoreal, so it's not like you could even swap them. So, right, that's what you're saying too. So
Yeah.
If you had her loose, of course. Yeah, that's unfortunate. Do you think it was they I think you might have mentioned it was just a slip up, or do you think they maybe had difficulty sourcing?
I just think they forgot, to be honest.
Oh, forgot. That's what you said.
it,
I'm sorry.
it was a different team in place back then. I just think they forgot. They didn't realize. Which is weird because usually when they do a change like that, I think the guidance on those kinds of changes is that, if we produce this figure in the future, it's going to need to have these changes incorporated to it. And I know that I just think they forgot. It was a different team. But one thing that gives me a little bit of hope is that somebody on Twitter actually posted that they found this wave somewhere. They got a hold of this wave. And from their photo, it kind of looked like maybe it is the revised head from 2017. I'm not sure. I asked them for more photos. I'm still waiting on that. But from that one photo I did receive from this person,
Oh,
I'm a little more hopeful that it is the revised head, and maybe they just didn't know what they were talking about at the time.
that could be it.
I mean, this has happened before. We have gotten answers during these Q&As that end up not being the case. Something will ship later, and it's not exactly what they told us it was going to be. So, yeah, it could very well be that it is the updated head sculpt. And if it is, then, I'll be very happy. I'm sure a lot of collectors of that line will be happy. Chris says, Chris's explanation makes zero sense. But logic, if the new TVC Boba gets released, it will not be the readout version. Yeah, and I think that's usually how it works. So the guidance is usually like, if we produce this in the future, it'll have to be this updated version. And I believe that Steve actually mentioned this as well for the Force Awakens Han Solo for Black Series, because that figure, very famously had brown hair, whereas in the film he's got gray hair. And one time Steve posted a picture of, well, they had it at Comic-Con where he had gray hair, like after the figure came out. They're like, oh yeah, we're doing a running change. He's going to have gray hair. Never hit retail. And I'm like, are you guys sure that this came out? And they're like, yeah, it got released. And like, nobody I knew ever found it. And, eventually the story ended up being that, if they were to produce it in the future, he would have gray hair. So, yeah. So there are a couple out there, but they weren't, as far as I know, ever sold. They were just like, prototypes.
Oh, yeah. Paint samples. Yeah.
And Steve has one in his personal collection. So, of course.
Of course. Yeah. Yeah. So, just to speak about, so we've, on the TVC side, we've received a few new head sculpts for Leia, right? We got the Bespin Escape Leia head sculpt and the new Leia Endor one, and a couple of pretty cool customizers have taken, I think, the Bespin Escape Leia head and taken the Slave Leia and modified that head to add the hair and make an updated Slave Leia. And some of them are just absolutely amazing, not just with what they see and how they can bring something together and make an ultimate figure, but also some of the painting some of these people do with human faces and that stuff is absolutely amazing. So if you guys haven't had a chance, there's some people out there. Dexter Santos is one of them that's done some really cool stuff. And I think Artie Mayo has done some pretty cool stuff too with those. And just, it's like, wow, we could use an update with the likeness on a lot of Leia figures. So
yeah, totally. Let's see, Biker's Cat 74. Hasbro's logic for archive is weird. Why reproduce figures that there is widespread criticism of and therefore no demand? Yeah, I don't know. I know that was a lot of people were upset about Obi-Wan archive that's coming later this year. And I think it's part of that same wave actually, as Leia, because they have gone back and redone his head, like for the Walgreens exclusive and for the recent Target exclusive Clone Wars figure. So why are they going back and repainting a head from 2014 that nobody liked? I don't know.
Didn't Patrick say something about like it's such an iconic figure and we want him to revisit it and do it right or something like that? So,
maybe.
So hopefully, hopefully you get the the one you think the set 2017 one, hopefully.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so interesting stuff. I just hope that we want anyway. I think the takeaway from this and from the Emperor thing is we want, when it comes to like important characters, we want definitive versions. That way, we'll never have to ask for it again. And I think that's especially important when you're talking like original 96 characters, because I think you're less likely to get some of those in the future. Things like Endor Leia, things like the ATST driver. I think they kind of need to be done right. And I know some of these are exclusives. They can they're not part of the budget that they would set forth for the year, but they're able to do them because of their retail partners like Walmart. But in some cases, I kind of feel like skip the exclusive, budget in for next year or the year after that. I don't mind waiting if the end product is going to be fantastic. If it's going to be definitive, if we're never going to need it again, then I'm completely okay with them, budgeting it into the proper space in the main line.
Yeah, I 100% agree, and I know I shared kind of one of our throwaway questions, which I had one about the Ewoks, and I love Return of the Jedi, and I love everything about it, especially even the Ewoks, and we got a Black Series Paplu and Evo recently with just very authentic, uncanny likenesses. And, I would expect that for, if that's a premium line and TVC is also a premium line, then I want when they release a Paplu in TVC or a Tebow, that Tebow head should have been updated. And Paplu, he's not Lumat. We need a different head. And again, Ewoks are characters too, and there's only a handful of them that are very specific.
Mm-hmm.
So that would have been nice. So I agree with you.
Yeah. As we have this conversation, I just noticed on my screen there that biker scout that's sitting behind me. Yeah, if that comes back to TVC, please give us a new sculpt. Please give us a new sculpt.
Wait, which one? I'm sorry.
This guy right here, Scout Trooper, biker scout.
Sorry, I was laughing at Chris's comment. It's the Catalina wine mixer. Yeah, the biker scout. It's tough. I know some people are pretty hot about having an all new sculpt on that, and I'd love to hear just from you. Why? Tell me.
It's not terrible. It's not terrible. It serves its purpose. It's on the speeder bike. It, the 2012 speeder bike, it goes on it perfectly fine. There's no issues with it at all.
Mm-hmm.
Proportionally, though, in terms of movie accuracy, which I think is one of the most important things about this stuff, is that it's not quite there. The helmet's a little bit small.
It's small, yeah.
Yeah, the Black Series one is pretty close to perfect. Dial those proportions down a few notches and redo your biker scout. I mean, it's time.
This is like a lesson I'm learning from you. You're like teaching me. I'm like one of your third graders. Yeah, I see that. Yeah, the head is pretty small, and the crotch area is a bit oversized. It's kind of diapery.
Yeah, I mean, they could do a Mandalorian one, and they could do a brand new figure.
It's tough. I feel like a lot of TVC figures fall victim to the shrunken head.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard that, some of the process when they mold these and they produce them, there's shrinkage. But you would think that could be factored in for a lot of these things. And I know Chris asked the question about the Ponda Baba. That the Black Series one, they nailed that oversized costume, kind of matte prop head.
Yeah.
And it'd be great if someday if we did get another Ponda Baba, which I'm sure he'll show up again, to get that.
He'll show up in Kenobi.
Exactly, right? He's gotta, right? So yeah, no, that's interesting.
Obi-Wan's like, next time you bother me, I'm gonna cut off your arm.
Yeah, you mess with me again. Yeah, so it's tough. It's tough with you know, what you can do. You know, again, the Han Solo and trench coat. It's like,
Right. That's another one that kind of kills me a little bit.
yeah. But we got some beautiful soft goods.
We did. We got some nice soft goods. The soft goods on the Endor Leia is the colors are nice. Just, it's a little maddening. I mean, especially if you've been collecting these for a long time and you bought that figure already basically, 20 years ago. It's like 15 years ago. It's just like, come on.
I know, and then you see the Black Series one, and then the Hot Toys one, and you're like, they're perfect.
That's one of my favorite looks for her is her Endor look, and with the before the Ewok celebration thing. But
love it.
yeah.
I love it. Absolutely. So yeah, it's tough. It's tough.
It is tough.
It makes you think about what are we getting because of the sacrifices that were made on them. So, and that's what they kept talking. They kept bringing that up.
Yeah.
During these Q&As, they're like, would you want that over? Would you sacrifice a new Mandalorian figure for that? It's like, whoa. This, I don't want to sacrifice anything, but I get where you're coming from. But man,
I think, like I said, they should rephrase it so that you're not sacrificing. You're just waiting a little bit longer. Budget it for another year. We don't have to sacrifice anything. We can just wait longer, and I'm okay with that. If it means we're going to get something definitive, I'll wait a year or 2 years. I mean, we're already waiting when they announce stuff because they still got to like pre-order it and then all that, and it could take a long time. So. Yeah, I don't mind waiting another year for the perfect Emperor or the perfect Endor Leia. I mean, as long as I know that I'm going to get something that is going to be like perfect, then that's fine. That's fine. The wait is not a problem for me.
Yeah, I might get some heat for this, but sometimes I think they are visiting the original 96 to just kit bash and repack a lot of stuff. I mean, it's unfortunate, and it does make, from their point of view, I guess it works, but it's hurting what our desires are, but it's giving us more stuff. So
it's like if you go to the gym and you just walk in the door, you turn around and walk out. Oh, I went to the gym today.
yeah. Or you go to the gym and then you have, you go to the bar at the gym afterwards and just have a complete cheat day, right?
Yeah, I'm just gonna sit in the locker room for a bit.
I weighed myself for a bit. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to say that, but sometimes it's like, well, I don't want this just to be here because it's easy to check off a bunch of stuff and make a few minor updates. So it's tough.
I like what John is saying here. Ponda and others on repacks on Rogue One cards.
Yeah, right. He's like, they gotta do them right from that movie first. So.
But the big-headed version, please, of Ponda Baba.
The big-headed version, and yeah, that Evazan. It's interesting. It's very different looking. I feel like the Black Series one versus the TVC one. So, I don't know if they used like a different likeness from the Rogue One character, or I have to revisit it. But they look very different. So, have to look at those at some point.
Yeah. You want to see something cool that maybe you are aware of it, maybe you're not. Let me go ahead and show you something here. So you may learn today about Ponda Baba that you may not know about. And this is, I always like to talk about this because this is something that not everybody knows, thanks to a mistake Hasbro made ages ago.
Oh.
Let's see. Here we go.
Sorry if you can hear my family in the background.
No worries. So this is, I know it's itty bitty. This is a scene. This is the best I can find. This is from A New Hope, behind the scenes.
Yeah.
You can zoom in just a little bit. Okay, so you have both of the characters here. Which arm is the character missing?
Oh, his left.
Which arm is he missing in the movie?
Oh, is it his
Or
brother?
sorry, for the figure.
Oh, I think it's his right. Yeah. Yeah. Oops.
Oops.
We transposed that by accident.
Yeah. And yeah. Oh well. It's one of those things that got lost in translation, I guess. Because I mean, in the film, you don't really see which arm it is. It's just like so quick. But yeah, I saw that like a few years ago. I'm like, oh man, like why did I find this? That's gonna like every time I look at that figure, it's gonna bother me. Yeah, so I think we were talking about, like lack of attention, lack of focus in certain areas. I know in one of our chats that we maintain that, we're talking about sequel figures earlier, how there's still some that haven't made their way into the vintage collection. There's still, we haven't gotten like, Finn hasn't been in the vintage collection yet. The Emperor from Rise of Skywalker hasn't made Elder. Han Solo, Elder Lando Calrissian, and Elder Leia. Like none of those have made their way into the vintage collection yet, and they're all pretty important characters from that trilogy.
Yeah.
So I mean, I think that's another area that if Hasbro does think we want more original trilogy, more Mandalorian, yeah, that might be true, but that doesn't mean that's all we want. And, I definitely like to see a little bit more. Just pepper them into the line where they can. There's definitely more from those films that I think should be in the line by this point that aren't there yet.
Yeah, no, definitely. One other one I was going to bring up, and I might be in a minority here, but I would love to start seeing the Ghost Crew, the Rebels.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm having a alcoholic moment here. But start off with Sabine or something, and she'd probably be a huge killer. She's a Mandalorian too, so. Rebels. I can't even think. I'm like trying to think of the name of the show. Jesus, John. So that's something severely lacking. But yeah, we don't have anything from it, so people just don't want anything to do with it because
Right.
What am I going to do from one figure? And that's tough. I understand that. I'm all about the world building, and but I also love the art of things, and I'm willing to sometimes just have or start with just one figure from something.
Yeah. We also need a Supreme Leader Kylo Ren.
Yes.
This guy right here. Da-da-da.
Oh, there he is.
There he is.
You need a teacher. You should say that to your students first day. You need a teacher.
I can show you the ways, the dark side, of course.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Okay, so Darth Eddie has something here. Confirm or debunk the story that one reason we don't get a lot of Legacy Collection 2008-2010 repacks is because of an accident in Hasbro or in the Chinese factories that destroyed the molds.
It's tough. It's critical thinking skills 101, right?
Yeah, I mean, I think something like this, Chris could probably speak more to it than we could, but yeah, I mean, I know that I like just like rumors and stuff, right? Like, a lot of figures from that era are no longer, or molds from that era are no longer available. What's the reason? I mean, I have no idea. I know that in the past, and I think I heard this from Adam Paulus one time, was that some of the molds for like the vintage Star Wars stuff, part of the reason they had to go back and re-sculpt them based off of vintage figures rather than vintage molds was because people were stealing them from the factories a long time ago, and they were using them as like anchors for boats and stuff.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, I mean, who knows? I mean, could they have been discarded? I mean, from what I understand, I mean, they're not just going to store those at factories for free, right? Kind of like they have to pay rent or some sort of maintenance fee. I mean, they're made of metal. These things deteriorate. And they're big. And I mean, I can imagine once you've made a couple hundred figures, storage isn't. If you ask somebody to go back, look for the hand for this one figure back from 2006. It might have gone lost. And if you lose one part of the figure, maybe it's just like not worth it to find the other parts. I don't know. I mean, there's so many hypotheticals here when it comes to what happened to those molds. So who knows?
Yeah. and deduce that the figures from those lines that were carried forward and repacked into other collections are still available. The ones that were not repacked or reissued are not sourceable at the moment. What does that mean? And you had Paul Bennett, who's one of the designers at Hasbro, who's done a few different ZBrush summits. He did state in one of them that these molds are steel and they do rust.
Yeah.
And then, there's that whole, right, Hasbro has, they don't own their warehouses, I believe, right? Where Mattel owns their assets and their warehouses, and they manage them. So it's, I mean, we'll see what happens with some of the original 96, right? Because there's a few.
Yeah. I mean, I don't remember if Endor Leia, going back to that awful figure, was ever carried forward after 2006.
She
so, I mean,
was.
okay.
Yep. Sorry.
Multi-pack, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, I know Chris knows the exact pack, but yeah, it's one of those 2010, either Shadows of the Dark Skies. What was that one?
Yeah, Shadows of the Dark
One of
Side.
those Endar multi-pack situations. Okay. You look back, all of them. I just mean the repack. If they're the Leia repacked, Chris. That's all we were talking about. But yeah, we have no idea. I think Hasbro should be asked those questions, and they should be honest whether this is true or false. But one can use some critical thinking skills and say, why hasn't anything that hasn't been repacked, from 2008 or to 2010 ish, 2000 resurfaced. So.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that haven't resurfaced that I know a lot of people would like to see come back. So, I mean, I know we talk about like the Ugnaughts, we talk about like the Bespin security officers, things like that don't necessarily need, like a ground up redo. That could be pretty good, but yeah, there's quite a bit there that would make sense to bring back. A lot of us would like to see. And
Chris, we were just talking about Endor Leia. She was repacked, I think during the Shadows of the, what was it called? What was that
Dark
line?
Side, Shadow of the Dark Side.
Shadows of the Dark Side. Thank you. Anyway, so yeah, great question, Darth Eddie.
Yeah, no, it's. I'd love to learn more. I'm sure Hasbro has a better picture of that we're never going to really know the full story about. But yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that I think would make sense to bring back, or could potentially do pretty well. But yeah, so what do you say we talk about some Hot Toys?
Yes. They're hurting my wallet. Like, eventually.
Both.
I don't even know where to begin. Look, I've gotten the bug, and I now have 4 DTOFs set up right. What's that?
Yeah, more than I do. I have 3 of them.
Okay, well then that gives me hope, because you've showed me how you put the themes or the movie scenes, I think it's scenes, together, which is a great idea.
Yeah, my intent was for that to help rein in the number of Hot Toys I was purchasing. I mean, I don't even have them all in there as a thing. I have some of them that are just in their boxes because there's no room.
Yeah, I have Hammerhead in his box, and it's killing me.
Yeah, that's such a good figure. I wish I had Hammerhead. I am jealous about that one.
It's tough. I have him and Chirrut still in a box, and I don't think I'm going to keep Chirrut. So Chirrut, I think it's going to be mostly Mandalorian, and then my favorite other characters, which are Luke and Boba. Yoda. But yeah, lots of stuff dropped recently, right?
Yep.
The Armorer.
Yeah, lots of stuff has dropped. I guess the chief among them this week, which is kind of a big one, was Boba Fett.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is his. I think Hasbro reversed as like the armor Boba Fett. Here they're calling it the repaint armor.
Oh.
So yeah, this is the deluxe figure. So if you want the deluxe figure, you get the throne. And you also get his head. So he's got a interchangeable head that that you would get with this version of the figure. So that's kind of one of the frustrating things, is that they are offering a version that doesn't have the throne, but it also doesn't have the unmasked head. So if you want to get that, you have to buy the deluxe set.
Oh, really? Is that what they're doing?
Yeah.
I had the other version that was like a 2-pack with him in his nomad outfit or whatever it's called, and then the armor all like, you know, beaten up. And I made a decision. I was like, no, you got to pick one or the other. And I was able to call Sideshow, and they canceled my 2-pack, refunded me my deposit,
Oh, wow.
and I'm gonna get that one. It's the first time I've ever done that. Like, so I don't know how you feel about that, but I made a decision. Like, I can't do all 3 of these. That's just crazy. I need to pick one, and that throne is just badass. So
yeah, I didn't order that previous one because I did anticipate that they would be doing this, and
yeah,
I was like, you know, I prefer the finished re-armored look overall. And I mean, this to me just looks. I mean, look, he looks great. I mean, just here with his unmasked head holding the helmet. I mean, it's just.
Yeah,
it's really
the likeness looks different than the other one. It's funny.
Yeah, could be different sculpt something.
I don't know if it's like.
I know some people. Yeah, I know some people were saying that the armor is a little too textured. Like maybe they just took the previous one and repainted it for the prototype.
I did notice that. You can see it right there, right? Like his chest armor looks like it's, you know, could be one of those things where they really looked at it and said, "Oh, well, it was all beaten up, and he just spray painted over it." I don't know. I have to go back and look. I have to go back and look.
Yeah.
I don't remember, but and you know, these are prototypes, right? So, but I thought the picture with Fennec next to him holding the spatchka.
Yes.
Speaking of cocktails, you know.
I know. I need to learn how to make spatchka, really.
Let me know.
I'm sure I could get close to it.
But yeah, they teased her. They like to do that, right? They like to tease like another figure.
They always do that. And it wasn't just her that they teased. They also teased another character in here.
Did they? I missed it. I missed it then. Ooh.
Yeah, let's see if we can. Look at that throne, by the way. That throne is incredible.
It's awesome.
Imagine getting that in TVC or Black Series.
I know. They did show. Is that what you're the Casca?
Yeah, that's Casca Reeve right there.
You're right. I did see that. I didn't think. Yep. I haven't. I think I'm going to take the approach maybe you're taking now, and I'm thinking wait till down the road to order these things. Don't just pre-order them and having sitting there for so long. Is that what you do now, Victoria? Or?
Yeah, I mean, it depends. If it's something that I absolutely 100% know that I'm going to want, then, you know, I jump on the pre-order right away. You know, I put the deposit down. Things like Ahsoka, like, you know, we got the Mandalorian Ahsoka revealed earlier this year. Things like that. Things like the Clone Wars version of Ahsoka, Captain Rex, you know, things that I know that I'm definitely going to want. You know, I'll jump on them right away. But other things, you know, maybe in some cases, some of these deluxe sets, like looking over there right now, I'll wait until we see what the final version is going to look like. Like Rey and Kylo Ren from Rise of Skywalker, like they look quite different from what the pre-order photos look like. So on those, I decided to wait to see what the final ones are going to look like, and they actually look even better than the prototype images. So
yeah, that Rey's amazing.
Yeah.
I'm trying to just like, no, it has to be my favorite characters from the movie or that season of a series, and it's just it's so hard.
Yeah.
But obviously, and then this goes to kind of they're revealing all these figures that are still like a far ways out.
Yeah.
It's like, why couldn't Hasbro do some of these things? It's just.
I know, right? Like talk about like waiting for a figure for a long time. I mean, these definitely require some waiting, and you can make your payments, you can do all that, but you're still not going to get your figure right away. So
Oh, and I have that Luke. I can't wait for that Luke.
Which one?
The
Oh,
snow
Snowspeeder
speeder,
Luke.
and how they nailed the two different colored oranges, like the
Yeah.
jacket, and then the pants, the two different tones. I mean, it's just the attention to detail is uncanny. It's just amazing.
Yeah, I don't think Hasbro has ever done that quite. The two-tone like pants and jacket.
Right. But I'm very excited for this figure right here. I mean, this is. So I'm gonna put him next to my deluxe Luke, Hot Toys Deluxe Luke, or not next to, in the same. I'm gonna do like a DTOF for Luke.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I think.
I haven't gotten on this one yet. I don't know that I am. It does look great, but I already have the deluxe Return of the Jedi Luke, and if they do revisit the A New Hope version, I anticipate I might want to get that at some point. So I'm trying to be good about it. I'm not pre-ordering them all.
I know it's tough. It's weird. Like I do love a New Hope Luke, and the farm boy look. But when it comes down to my two favorites, it's that one and then Jedi Knight, Jedi Luke, in the Return of the Jedi. So I'm gonna pick my two I like, and the blurg.
The blurg. There's three ways to get the blurg, isn't there? You can get it with season 1 Mando, you can get it with Queel, or you can get it just by itself, I think. So
yeah, and of course I just was like, whatever, I'm just gonna buy it by itself. Now I'm like, I don't know if that was the right decision, or if I'm not saving money, but whatever. I'm very excited for this. This is gonna be awesome, and I think I'm gonna have Queel on it. I don't think I'm gonna have Mando.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I want to get Queel for sure. But I think you already have this Mando anyway, right?
I do.
Yeah, I do too. It's great.
I love the Durasteel. I loved his first 2 episodes or whatever that was. His look, his Durasteel look, I think they call it. I just think it just looks like a ragtag kind of, making his way through the universe type of thing. So I actually prefer that. I mean, I love the Beskar version too. Don't get me wrong, but I prefer the Durasteel.
This one I think is really like, it stands out quite a bit on the shelf. And the funny thing with these Hot Toys is that, like, if you buy the carbonized, the Beskar Mando, that that one comes with the pram from earlier in season 1, which I don't think we ever saw that pram with Mando and his Beskar armor. But if you buy that figure, then you can display this Mando and his Durasteel look with that pram, which is what I did because
Oh, that's a great idea. I'm going to move the pram 2 shelves up. I like that idea. Thank you. That's a great point. That's a great observation. And I think there's a lot of unhappy customers out there because I guess the new season 2 Mando is like a much more chromed look.
Yeah.
Versus the Beskar one, and people are not too happy with. I mean, obviously you want to see progression and better accuracy, but I do want that season 2 one, but it's so hard to. Everything he comes with, it just look at that.
Yeah.
Can you imagine a deluxe 6-inch or 3.75-inch version like that? I mean, that would be a pretty crazy deluxe. Don't get me wrong. Like, but that's just would be awesome.
It would be. And from what I've seen like videos on YouTube from Secret Base where they film, you know, the prototype, and like he has like this rainbow effect like on his armor. If you get close to it and you see the like the light reflecting off of it, it gives like this prism sort of look because of how like metallic it is.
Oh, that's cool.
That is cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, and it's too bad too that you know the current Beskar Mando kind of just got released like pretty recently
Yeah,
in the
yeah,
U.S. So you know I know a lot of people were frustrated about that. I mean I'm you know it's like the other thing is though like this isn't going to be out for another 18 to 24 months. So it's like you know at least you have something to hold you over. You know.
yeah. Good, great point. I have not pre-order. I do want this because of all the stuff he comes with. I mean, they did at the very least jam pack it with, and he comes
Yeah.
with the dark saber and the Beskar spear, right? So
Yeah.
it's like okay, but man, I'm just gonna wait till down the road, and yeah,
Yeah.
that's where people were like, "Oh, you mudda."
Right. It's a little
Look at that.
shinier.
Yeah.
You know, we're always drawn to the latest, shiniest, brightest thing. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, I mean it's you know it's neat. I mean I can't really blame Hot Toys. I mean you know for trying to capitalize off of the show, right? And
Yeah.
I mean just like any other company, and
Trying to
he
improve their process.
comes with the dark saber. He comes with the Beskar spear.
Yep.
Yeah, good stuff. Look at that unmasked head.
That and that's the other thing. So I'm I grabbed the transport trooper. What do they call him? The Juggernaut pilot.
Mhm.
So I love that episode. It could be my I don't know why it could be my favorite episode of the whole series. Um, I just love the whole dialogue between him and Mayfeld, and then
Uh,
Valen Hess and all of that. But it's this likeness is very similar to when he takes his helmet off. So it's like
yeah.
I could get the transport trooper, and then once I get this, I could use this head with me. So I think they nailed his likeness right there, and maybe
Yeah.
did him a little more service because
It looks good. And this is the first time we've gotten like a Pedro Pascal head on a Hot Toys, so it's
yeah.
yeah.
And I'll go back to again like some customizers out there out of China and some other places have done some amazing 6-inch. I think they might be doing them for 3 3/4 now, but there's some unbelievable sculpts already that you can, if you want to customize your 6-inch or 3 3/4 with that head sculpt. There's some amazing
Right.
on Instagram.
Yeah. Gosh, there's so much stuff. Let's take a look at Quill really quick. Like, you know, I mean, this is another one that, like, you know, when they, I mean, we kind of figured he would be coming at some point, but like when you actually see it, it's like he'd be looking good.
He looks great. And this kind of, I asked a question, and I don't know if we go through here, if they actually show him with goggles on. But I asked Hasbro, I was like, could we see a Queel in the future that comes with, yes.
There he
So I
is.
asked that. I was like, will we see a Queel in the future that has goggle accessories and a welding torch? So he can work on a Pram, the Razor Crest, IG-11, or he can wear these goggles riding a Blurg. And
Yeah.
oh man, Chris shot me down. So it was a very honest answer, and I was like, well, again, would you rather have that over something new? But
Right.
my whole thing was, it's just a head, man. It's just a head.
I know. It's yeah, or like, you know, what they did with the Black Series, the solo Chewbacca was a Target exclusive. He had like the goggles that were just like elastic in the back so that you could, you know, put him however you wanted.
Yes. Yeah, I love that. I have that. I have that figure. I have a few Black Series figures, and that's one of them I have. And or wait, did you say the Hoth Rebel Trooper?
No, the that one actually might too now that you mentioned it, but no,
Yes.
the solo
Sorry.
Chewbacca.
Oh, okay. My bad. So that one, the Hoth Rebel Trooper also has it, and
The elastic. Okay.
yeah, and it's great because you can like the Echo Base Trooper. I'm trying to think. Yeah, he has separate the VC-68. He has the separate goggles, and you can take those goggles and put them on Luke. That's riding the Tauntaun, and you can put them on the top. So he's got them as well. But anyways, I got to work on my follow up. If I'm invited back again, just following up and saying, well, I'm just really talking about an alternate head sculpt in the future. If you could reuse this wheel and make an update. So
yeah.
But yeah, I'm very excited for him. Absolutely, the characters that your heart gets drawn to. You really,
I know.
I want more of them.
Totally. And like this artillery trooper, like, I have the flame trooper. So I kind of feel like, well, if I have the artillery or the flame trooper and, this is like an easy, like one to have to get to. So it's like,
yeah, at least he's that's such a cool pose right there. He's just loading the loading the whatever you call it, the artillery. That's pretty cool. The mortar.
A mortar can, yeah.
Yeah.
And this is an easy one for Hasbro to do too, right? I mean, repaint the trooper, easy.
Yeah, and I don't know if it needs to be a deluxe pack. Maybe it doesn't. I mean, that doesn't seem like too much to put it.
They could do it.
Yeah. I think that's one thing I think I've mentioned to you I'm lacking is not enough bad people, bad characters in my Hot Toy collection.
Bad people.
Bad people. Bad. So the Empire Imperials, I don't have anything. The worst I have is Boba Fett, and that's pretty bad. I should have at least Darth Vader or a Darth Maul. The Emperor, I really regret with the throne. You have the Emperor with the throne, right?
I have the Emperor, but not the deluxe version with the throne, just the regular Emperor.
Okay, good enough. But yeah, it's kind of pathetic. So I need to work on that.
Yeah, you need at least like a Vader or a Stormtrooper or something like that.
Yeah,
bad people.
I'm hoping they do a Return of the Jedi Vader, because I don't think they've done that yet, right?
Not for 1/6 scale.
So I'll pull the trigger on that one.
And presumably that would have the removable helmet and everything. So
exactly, could be like an ultimate version. So
yeah, I do have the Empire Strikes Back version, and it's nice, but you got to be really delicate with it when you move it around because that dome just like falls off so easily from his head. And luckily I have a replacement dome, but the first one like fell to the floor when I was moving the figure, and it just got scratched up like right away. It was like, no.
I think Chris has a similar story where he dropped it, or it just toppled over, and his Vader broke. The head broke.
Ouch.
So these are very delicate. I do have almost all of them without their stands, and it's I'm kind of worried, like, oh man, but there's doors, and like even the heavy Mando, which I know we talked about. I love this figure. I'm so happy I bought it. Sometimes I walk by and I'm like, don't walk too heavy. Be light on those feet, John, because you see them kind of moving around, and sometimes the bases kind of take away from being able to really display a certain way.
I usually use the bases because I am worried about them falling, and we have a raised foundation, so if you walk by something, it can, it's not usually too big of a problem with Hot Toys, but like Black Series or 3 3/4 inch, like it can be an issue. So I saw my husband walk gracefully into the collecting room. Don't storm in there, because that can be a problem. But I usually do use the bases, and not for all of them. Sometimes they don't fit in there very well.
Yeah. Well, I have my Mando like holding. It's like the scene where he goes to meet the client, and Dr. Pershing comes out, and he gets startled, and he brings up his rifle and his pistol. So I have him sitting there kind of, and it's like, okay, I guess his rifle can hold his fall one way. But I couldn't put him and Heavy Mando together because the stance I had Mando in was so wide, it would take away from him if I had two figures in there. So I was like, shoot.
Right.
But sure, I bet you if you had them both together, you'd probably have them in their little knife battle when they were squaring off with each other for a minute.
Totally. And Bad Batch is making its way into, Hot Toys. We still don't have them in TVC, but, at least Hot Toys has announced you can get Hunter. I think they have Echo announced. And, presumably they'll do the rest of them as well. So.
Yeah, we should pressure Chris right now. He's been thinking about buying this. We should pressure him right now that.
Let's push him into the rabbit hole. We'll just push him in.
Totally buy this figure. You love that character. Just do it.
Just do it.
I did pre-order Echo.
Oh, nice.
I just think, like, for me, Echo is just so all of the different gadgets and stuff. But yeah, I mean, this is amazing too. This head sculpt's absolutely amazing on Hunter.
Yeah, it looks good.
Oh, look at that! It's just, I don't know how they took an animated figure and they nailed it.
I wonder if they'll do Omega in Hot Toys.
Oh, it's maybe like a accessory, like a Grogu.
Well, I think she'd be a little bigger, but
this is true.
I wonder what she would look like.
She's like a Queel. She's like a Queel. Yeah.
Yeah. She'd be probably like Queel size. I wonder if they'd have to really interpret her, kind of like they did with the Ahsoka Clone Wars that's coming. So they'd have to translate her into realistic, and I just wonder what that execution would be like. I'm really curious.
Yeah, she's so I don't know what the word to use is like androgynous. I don't know. It's a very interesting look. So, yeah, it's I'm looking forward to the rest of that story and who what's up with her. But I did order Echo. I don't know if I'm ordering Hunter. Again, like I know the character is Hunter's. You really attach onto him, but man, Echo is just.
It's neat.
It's the playability is just like I joke around. He's like you took a clone, R2, C-3PO, and Inspector Gadget and put them all together.
All right, you get Echo.
Yeah, because there's like a picture. One of these pictures is him with it looks like a Go-Go Gadget arm. It's hilarious. So there's the arm, and then just the sculpt. I don't know how they're doing this, but he's got that Lobot look too, right? So,
right. Yeah, he does.
It's just so many characters mixed into.
It is neat. I don't think I'm going to do any of these because I feel like if I get one Bad Batch member, I'm going to kind of want them all, and I don't think I'm going to go there with these. They're cool. Maybe Omega. We'll see what she looks like, but if they do her, but no. For now, I'm going to be good about the Bad Batch, and I'm not going to get into these.
Yeah, like I said, I got carried away, but I'm going to keep Echo, and I think that's the one I'm going to keep of all of them. We'll see if that happens. Tech could be he's another gadget one, which I just love. I love that. So
and then Crosshair, Wrecker. What would Wrecker look like? How expensive would Wrecker be?
Omega would probably be a feminized Daniel Logan. I think I saw him post a picture of Omega and Boba Fett from their animated, both obviously from their animated and the Step Brother outfits, and it was like Step Clones or I forgot what it was called. I was like, oh, that's well played. I get it.
This is
it
would be interesting. So I think apart from these, what was the other one you mentioned early on that you had seen? I forget which one it was. Wasn't
Uh,
the Biker Scout, was it?
no. That I ordered or
Yeah,
the
or yeah,
transport trooper. The transport trooper.
was it on? Okay.
Yeah. Again, I just love that whole episode and that whole scene of him fighting up on the top of the Juggernaut. And you know, I'm just gonna have it sitting next to my other Din Djarin's as kind of him in disguise.
Right.
So
Yeah, that'd be neat.
and I think that was a cheaper one. It was like 200, 220.
Yeah. I really want this one here, the Scout Trooper and Speeder Bike, but you know, I'm so far been able to not do it. But I've seen some poses, like, you know, when people get it and they just have him like standing leaning up against the bike and he just looks incredible.
Oh yeah, I would like the yeah. Don't say that to me. I have this sideshow speeder bike.
Nice.
And it's above my Luke display, and it's beautiful. It was a real pain in the butt to put together. Oh, look at that. So I mean, there's so much interactiveness with this, right? So I have IG-11. I haven't gotten any. I have paid it off. I'm still waiting for him
Same.
to send.
Still waiting on mine too.
So, but
he actually has magnetic feet so that you can put him on here onto the speeder bike.
wow,
like yeah, they're like magnetic, so they just like it's a perfect like clip onto the stirrups, if you want to call them, or the
Yep. But yeah, at least you have a couple different options with the speeder bike. You have the Biker Scout and IG-11, so
yeah.
that's pretty cool. So yeah, I do want to eventually have Luke on my speeder bike, but it's like that doesn't fit into a DTOF. So what do I do?
Right. That's the thing. Like I've kind of been. It's like when you get to these high end things, you want to protect it, right? And I feel like the DTOFs are good for like these 6 scale figures, but not everything fits in there. When you start getting to like quarter scale, or you start getting into some of these big accessories that these things come with, it's kind of hard to put them to find ways to display them. You know, you kind of have to like find a new location, and then they're exposed. Like, you know, I'm sure you might have seen it on my Instagram. I got this Marilyn Monroe statue that I imported, and it's a quarter scale thing. So it's like, you know, she doesn't fit in the DTOF. I'd have to like make some adjustments to the DTOF, and then it's like, well,
How heavy is she?
She's quarter scale, and she has a display base that's like 2 inches.
Okay, because I think you can only put up to 13 pounds on a glass DTOF shelf.
She's pretty heavy too, so there'd be that. She'd have to be at the very bottom, and you know, you don't see the ones that are at the bottom so well. So I keep my series one that's like way at the bottom, because you know, you can see those, but like the figures are a little harder to see down there. And but that's another thing I've seen people do, is they'll build like these shelves on the bottom, and then they'll put the DTOF on top of the shelves so that everything, you know, is a little more visible.
Yeah,
but
that's really cool too.
Yeah, I wouldn't do that personally, but it looks cool when you can do that.
Because I'm trying to think, because then from there, it's like your DTOFs are probably closer to your ceiling. Unless I guess you have, I mean, I have vaulted ceilings downstairs, but in my little man cave here, I probably have another 2 feet above the DTOF. So yeah. And I have a Hasbro Imperial Shuttle, the Slave One, and a speeder bike on top. So it's like I'm trying to figure out, can I get a crest there and maybe move this speeder bike off? So I don't know. I'm poorly displaying my vehicles in my collection right now.
You know, the vehicles are tricky. You know, I have my 3D tops like together, and I'm sure I've sent you photos. And on the top, I have like kind of like you know, some vehicles. I have the AT-AT AT-AT. I have Imperial Shuttle. I got the Slave One. I've got an ARC 170, and then I have all the figures that kind of correspond with those vehicles, like placed around them. So, I mean, I mean, that's a good place for me to put them because they're not on the floor, you know. But
yeah,
there's other things I could put there too, like some of those higher end things, that do take up more room. But, that's part of this hobby, right? Is figuring out how to display stuff, managing what you put on display, rotating the displays and all that.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like I spent, a decent amount getting a cabinet maker to do this cabinet for me so I could really display my loose TVC collection. And that wasn't cheap, but I'm so happy I did it because I feel like I'm displaying that properly now, and I would like to do that in the future with some of my vehicles, the barge. I have the Millennium Falcon on a guitar stand.
Nice.
Saw people doing that, and I was like, oh, it's like a $17 Amazon Basics guitar stand. So
I might have to do that too. I don't have it. It's still in the box. The Target one from last year, it's still in its box. I haven't even opened it to look at it or anything. So I may need to do that because that feels like the only way I'm going to be able to get it on display.
Yeah, it's cool because it's like sideways and just, it works for space savings too. And I just had it sitting on the rug, and the feet like to pop off, and it's a pain in the butt. But yeah, so it's one of those things. Just how do you just manage all of this and obviously display it and do it justice from displaying it. I was gonna say I have the AT-AT there, but I wasn't collecting vehicles back then because I had a smaller house and I was worried about space. It's terrible. If I can go back in time, that's one of the things I would change. But part of me wants to open this, but this thing has gotten so expensive. It's like, ugh.
Yeah, for vehicles, it's like, you gotta open them. That's like, I don't have that version of the app, but I have the indoor one that was vintage collection. I think it was like early 2013 or so. I have that one, and it's up there, and it's freaking magnificent.
Yeah, I'm really regretting not getting another loose one before they got crazy in price. And I love just this art. They could just sell prints of this stuff. I feel like some of this stuff, and people would put it on the walls. Maybe I'll open it.
Yeah, Toys of the Oasis, just open it.
Yes, what's up, my friend? I know. And well, again, I bought the what do you call it? The Millennium Falcon from the Toys R Us exclusive.
Yeah.
And I bought it from a collector, and it was already opened, and he still had the box. So that was an easy decision to make, right? Because it was already open. So
yeah. At least though, if you do open them, you can still like keep the box like looking like new. So.
Yeah, I'm to the point where I think you're there as well. I know we both collect both. You're loose and carded, but I definitely favor more and more my loose collection as I don't know, get more into this stuff. So
yeah,
but yeah.
Yeah, no, it's looking good. Good little stash you got over there for sure. Good stuff over there.
Yeah, I was like, how can I just get this stuff in here and show it without shelving or any type of organization? And forget, Augustine sent me there's some Disney movie with one of them, Disney cartoon, where they're holding like a bunch of stuff and they're balancing it all. One of the princesses, I forget, but anyway, he was like, be careful, you know.
Yeah, I know, for sure. No, and it's good stuff. And like, it's funny, like I see the Jocasta New like set over there. Like, it's funny because like that got clearanced out big time on Entertainment Earth. Yeah. I remember getting one like, gosh, maybe like $20 less. I don't remember. I remember it being really cheap, but like what those things go for now is insane.
It's crazy. Yeah. I got her in there with all her accessories and a little character debut. Little logo there. I cut it out from the bubble and put it.
Yeah, I see it right there.
Yeah. And I got one stashed downstairs just to keep carded. But I don't know. For me, it's enjoying the art, and part of that art is really opening them up and really holding them.
Yeah, yes. Hasbro would never make a Jocasta New now. No.
No. I know I heard a story at one point that like Brian's toys got really, I think, gotten deep with that figure, and
Wow.
I think they paid for that exclusive. So I think it was a pretentious moment for them with
Yikes.
not selling. So, but I love it. I'm hey, thank you, Brian's Toys. So,
Yes, absolutely.
thanks,
um,
Tomb Toys. I appreciate that.
yeah, it's fantastic. Yeah. Hopefully you won't run out of room anytime soon.
I just I wait, am I going the wrong way? I am going the wrong way. Am I? I just started like cramming them like kind of shoulder to shoulder behind their shoulders and trying to create
Nice.
a little more depth in the shelf. So I made like 2 more shelves of space.
Funny.
I might have to do that more up there, but yeah, I definitely didn't think that through as to how to fit everything. But
It looks good though. Yeah, it's
we have, I think, 50 more figures left to go here, so that'll be a couple more years, I think, or
yeah, a
maybe
couple more years, hopefully. Well, cool. So, John, it's been fun. We've been going for 2 hours now, and I think we've covered a lot of ground. We've talked, Q&A, vintage collection, a little bit of Black Series, some hot toys, and yeah, it's been fun. Thank you so much for coming on and chatting all these topics with us here at on a cocktail hour.
Yeah, again, thank you for having me, and been itching to get on one of these, so I appreciate you getting me on. And again, congratulations to you and your future endeavors there. And yeah, I hope we can participate more with the brand team in the future. And it was a fun experience. I was a little nervous, but anyways, I enjoyed talking to you about that. And yeah, hope to see you again in the future.
Absolutely. Let's do this again sometime. So I already put links in the description, but where can our viewers go to find you online?
Yeah. Oh, hey, Steven. What's up, buddy? Velkin Cesari. He's all about the petition. And Tonica Sisters, right? Come on. Time for Tonica.
Time for Tonica.
Yeah, I mainly spend my time adminning Star Wars, the Vintage Collection Facebook group. You can find me on Instagram at The Far Side of Endor. And I'm on Twitter at _John Miko. And yeah, that's where you can find me. So I appreciate it. And again, thank you for having me on for Cocktail Chatter.
Yeah, of course. My pleasure. Thank you again for coming on. And you're also a contributor on the Vintage Collection podcast.
Yes. Yeah. Is that coming back?
So yeah, season 2 coming this fall.
Ooh, awesome. Cool. Well, thank you so much. And thank you again for this was a great start to my vacation. So
yeah, no, awesome. Yeah, have fun, enjoy. Vacation's the best. And yeah, let's talk again soon.
Okay. Take care.
All right, everybody. Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.